Hi there. Welcome to 3 Minute Therapy Podcast. I'm Mick Berry with Dr. Michael Edelstein, who is a trained therapist in rational emotive behavior therapy. I myself am a personal practitioner of rational emotive behavior therapy for over 3, maybe 4 decades now. And we present different topics in which people may have emotional problems or problems in the real world, and we address how REBT, Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy, REBT for short, goes about helping people to solve them. Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy was developed by Dr. Albert Ellis in the early 1950s. He was a practitioner of mainstream Freudian psychoanalysis. He found it incredibly ineffective and wanted to come up with his own means of therapy which would help people. And so he invented originally rational therapy, then extended it to rational emotive therapy, and then rational emotive behavior therapy. The principles of rational emotive behavior therapy, REBT for short, are that our disturbances, our mental, our emotional disturbances are not due to the things that happen to us, but how we view the things that happen to us and how we even view the things that we are encountering presently or in the future. And it teaches people how to learn to think differently so that they are helping themselves rather than being self-defeating. More specifically, REBT recognizes that it's our self-defeating thoughts which are manifested in demands about certain situations, demands on ourselves or other people or the world. And REBT teaches people to change their demands into desires or retain the desire which they have, and to eliminate the demand. And by eliminating the demand, people may eliminate anxiety, depression, anger, procrastination, and all sorts of behaviors such as overindulging in substances, or if they've had a problem in addiction to substances, to eliminate the use of substances or alcohol in their life, and to help people be self-helping rather than self-defeating. Anything you want to add to that, Michael?
Yeah, that was pretty complete. A few things I'd like to add, just by way of background, is both Mick and I had the honor of being patients of Albert Ellis many, many years ago when we were young tykes. And also, not only does our thinking cause our emotional problems, but our thinking causes our behavioral problems as well, such as procrastination and addiction.
Thanks. I actually didn't have the pleasure of having Albert Ellis as a therapist. I simply gave him rides to and from the airport when he would come to San Francisco. However, words of wisdom would fall out of his mouth, so one might say that I was his chauffeur and benefited from therapy free of charge. So, Michael, today's title of our video is what? What did we decide to title it?
Well, I made a suggestion, but I think you had an improvement. My suggestion was REBT and downward mobility, but you changed that a little to make it more
Right,
complete.
I can't remember what I said if you thought it was an improvement. Was it REBT and losing
Financial mo downward financial mobility.
or REBT and less and losing income, I think is what I said.
Okay.
Yeah. And so where we had somebody write to us on in the comments section, and we last week, and so we decided to go ahead and snatch this one up. So please, anybody that has anything they would like us to cover, speak right up. So this is a situation where somebody has a particular income, and then certain situations can cause us to have less income. How do we deal with that? Now, I think first and foremost, REBT would say we need to have an income, most of us do, in order to pay our bills and have a place to live. So it's definitely an actual practical problem if we lose our job or end up with less money. So what first I think needs to be attended to is what can we do to get another job or keep our income going? While we're dealing with this very crucial, important situation, it's so easy, as most human beings do, to make it worse by putting emotional problems on top of the practical problem. And the emotional problems would take the place of becoming anxiety about the situation or anger about the situation or getting depressed about the situation, which all hinder our ability to solve the practical problem. So let's first talk about, Michael, chime in when you'd like, but let's first talk about the emotional problems, because when we don't have any emotional problems, we're much more adept at solving our practical problems. So one of the big occurrences with people and money is that we tend to rate ourselves by the amount of money that we earn. And this is, of course, harmful to ourselves because REBT encourages people not to rate ourselves whatsoever, but to accept ourselves. We don't think of ourselves, REBT encourages people not to think of ourselves as a good person or superior to other people overall as a person or our status in the human race. Nothing can help, nothing can change the way that we actually are, which is we are worth as a person. It cannot be evaluated whatsoever, and it's a useless concept, whereas our behavior can be quite valuable to ourselves and to other people. And so if we have less income, I would say it's very important not to put ourselves down for it and think, oh no, I'm no good, I'm a worm, I'm rotten because I lost my job. Even if I actually did make a mistake at work and lost the job because of it, that doesn't mean I am a rotten person. It simply means I made a mistake and possibly I have less income just because it happened outside of my control. But I am not worth less if I am earning less money. Likewise, if I'm just in a situation where my job doesn't pay me a lot, I'm not worth less as a human being than somebody that makes billions upon billions of dollars. Anything you want to add, Michael? I'm going on and on a lot.
Yeah. Some therapists would say, don't judge, don't judge anything, don't rate anything. But what we say is it's fine to judge or rate your behavior. If I have low income, I could say that's bad, but don't rate your entire self based on your poor behavior. And that doesn't mean give up on your poor behavior. It means the first step is not rating yourself. And then the second step is if you don't like your behavior, if you don't like your income, then try to figure out what you could do to try to improve it.
Right. And it's a perennial problem of human beings rating ourselves as good or bad people. And I think that it's rampant in the world that we live in with income. Many people will brag about their income. I make more money than you. Ha ha ha. And the world is unquestionably easier when we have more money. If we have a lot of money and extra money, then we have many more choices. But if we have less money, as long as we are providing ourselves with a roof over our head and food to eat, then our choices may become limited. Life may become more difficult, but then life itself is still acceptable, even if it is much more difficult than we would like it to be. And so, in addition to rating ourselves by having less income, it would be very easy to rate life. Oh, now I have less income. Now I can't take as many vacations. Now I don't have as big a house. Now I have to move into a smaller apartment than I can afford the rent. This is awful. This is terrible. No, it's just not what we want. And it might be more difficult, but life is still acceptable, even if it is difficult.
Right, and you're still acceptable if you have low income or you're unemployed. All this proves about you, at the very worst, is you're an imperfect human who acts imperfectly. So go for unconditional self-acceptance, USA. Recognize you're a fallible human being, so you're going to do poorly at times and do well at times. And neither is, as you're saying, Mick, neither is a statement about you as a total person or your worth.
And I wanted to correct something you said there, that it simply shows that you're imperfect. Less income might not even show that you're imperfect. Less income might just be a matter of circumstance. It's no reflection on your actual behavior. People often lose their jobs through no fault of their own whatsoever. So just because you have less income doesn't mean it's a reflection on anything about you that may be imperfect. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a better context for that.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's it's very easy to take our income and the amount of money which we have and start judging ourselves and also start judging our world. I myself don't have tons of money. I have enough to pay the bills that I need, but my life would be a lot easier if I had more money. And I think that's something that a lot of people think. This is why people play the lottery. My life would be so much easier if I have more money. I have to have my life be easier. Well, we don't have to have our lives be easier. I can accept my life, even if it's more difficult than I would like it to be. If I want it to be easier, I can try to earn more money if that's one of the things that I want to go after to make my life easier. Also, other people are not superior to me if they have more money. If somebody owns 10 sports cars and has 3 mansions, that doesn't mean he's a better person than I am. I just had the thought, Michael, I think sometimes people get caught up in trying to earn more money simply for the reason to inflate their own idea of their self-worth, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, their own ego. And it shows really that they don't have unconditional self-acceptance. They don't accept themselves as imperfect people. They think they have to do better. Not it would be nice to do better, but they have to do better in order to prove their worth.
And one of the things that substantiates how rampant that can be is the phrase that we've heard, he who dies with the most toys wins. Some people do abide by that, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, also, it's not that unusual that when someone thinks I have to earn more money, once they do earn more money, whatever their target is, then they're still not satisfied. And they think, well, that's not good enough. I have to earn more money in order to prove my worth, in order to have a happy life. So the solution is give up your demands, give up your musts and shoulds, although desires and preferences, I would like to earn more money but I don't have to, makes a lot more sense and tends to be motivating.
And I also want to add, this is outside of money. The same problems can happen with achievement. Let's say I'm participating in the Olympics. Well, I win the gold medal. That's all well and good. That's great. But if I win the silver medal, am I going to be dissatisfied and not accept myself because I didn't win the gold? I only won the silver. Or if I'm attempting to achieve something, whatever it may be, in a wonderful marriage or a career, we can easily rate ourselves and the world just by our behavior and whether we succeed or fail. But our amount of succeeding or failing has nothing to do with our value as a person, and it definitely has nothing to do with my ability to accept myself no matter what. I can accept myself under any circumstances. It's dependent upon nothing. It's dependent not on my income. It's not dependent on what I achieve or don't achieve. My self-acceptance depends upon me doing it. And even if I don't accept myself, that doesn't mean I'm not acceptable. It simply means I'm not accepting myself. But I am always acceptable, and accepting myself just depends upon me doing it.
Yeah. As a final last word on my side is to summarize what Mick and I are saying is give up your demands, give up your musts and shoulds, and just reinforce preferences and desires. And that's not easy. It sounds easy, but it's takes a lot of work, takes practice, 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 keep working at it. And there are various exercises you can do to work on uprooting your demands. And a lot of them are in my book, 3 Minute Therapy, Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. And again, I'm Dr. Michael Edelstein, and my partner here is Mick Berry. Mick, did you have some final words?
Yeah, I wanted to mention that I have seen Albert Ellis speak several times, and I remember one time he was explaining REBT, and a person who was on stage with him said, "It's that simple." And he said, "It's simple, but it's not easy." And I remember thinking, oh, something that's simple can can be actually difficult and take practice. Simple does not equate with easy. And I wanted to mention, as far as self-acceptance and accepting other people and accepting the world, we can rigorously, vigorously, repeatedly, emphatically say to ourselves, I'm going to accept myself because it is the best thing for me to do. It's a can't miss. And I decide to accept myself. I can fervently, passionately accept myself because it's the best thing for me to do. And I don't have to put myself down or think I'm incredible if I achieve something. Self-acceptance is my goal. I'm going to accept myself. Whatever determination we have to earn money or do well in our careers or have a wonderful social or family life, whatever determination we have for that, we can use that level of determination to accept ourselves, accept other people, and accept the world. That is within our control. And not complete control because we're fallible human beings, but that is within our capability to do and get better and better at it and rid our lives, greatly reduce and virtually eliminate any interfering anxiety, depression, or anger from our lives.
Okay,
That's it.
very good. Okay, great. And I'd like to thank our tech engineer, Chris Rossini, and comment below if you had thoughts about this or you'd like to be a guest. Uh, I have a number of people who have suggestions for future podcasts. One is JG, that's his initials. Just want to ensure him that we'll be discussing some of his ideas in the future. And subscribe to the 3 Minute Therapy podcast to do what, Mick?
I just wanted to say one thing. If I'm finding that I am imperfectly accepting myself, to accept that I don't have to accept myself personally. I can pick myself up and continue. If I find I'm not accepting myself, I don't have to put myself down for not accepting myself. And I can go at it again and get better and better at accepting myself while accepting that I don't have to do that perfectly to stay on the rational side of life.